This Pitch Breakfast video is brought to you by Spangler and Agans, attorneys for Charlotte's startup community.
All right, my name is Eric Welk. I'm the co-founder of RepRevive along with my buddy Matt right here in the audience. RepRevive is the easiest way for small businesses to really manage their customer experience. We combine Net Promoter style surveys along with reviews management and 24-hour online reviews monitoring so that they always have a complete picture of the customer service experience that's being delivered. Now, whenever a customer leaves feedback, our software automatically follows up in a personalized manner based on their Net Promoter answer. Detractors are just submitting private feedback so they get a chance to vent to the company about a bad experience. Passives are asked to engage the business on social media, and promoters are actually invited to leave an online review about that business. Now, we capture feedback at multiple customer interaction points, including social media, email, on the web, mobile, and it can also be done in person at the point of sale. So Matt and I have both bootstrapped our respective digital agencies to over 7 figures in total sales. Our core advisor is actually CTO at Science Inc., which is a startup incubator out in California. During the last quarter of 2015, we really just focused on rebranding the company. So it's a new brand from what Vic saw in August, and we actually completely rebuilt the software just to really hone in on the competitive B2B space. We started marketing really just a few weeks ago, so to date we have 10 free trial users, we have 3 paying customers, Nick is one of them, and we are in talks with several high volume resellers as well. So in 2016 and going forward, we're really focusing on the reseller program because we see really leveraged distribution there in terms of those existing B2B relationships, and it's the higher volume sales we're really seeking as a startup. So we are currently seeking an investment of $400,000 to put into the core business, especially the product and marketing, and we really believe with that investment that we'll be very competitive in this $5 billion space that is reputation management. Matt's going to join me for the Q&A part of this.
Great job. So you sound like you're giving an investor pitch. Absolutely. And you're looking for 500,000, is that right? 400,000. I think you did a great job in setting the table. I think maybe a little more, you could have given it a little tighter pitch in terms of your background. I think you probably have a better background than you gave, just based on the traction that you've had as a service, and tighten that up a little bit, in part because the story is a little bit unclear, a little fuzzy in what you gave. And usually it's much better to tighten it even if you're insecure about some aspects of it. Like for example, the fact that you have 7-figure sales in your business tells me you probably have had a service business that's been going on, you have developed some interesting experience. But that, to me, was giving me the question of, is this a service or is this a product? Which it's a big difference. Yeah. As an investor, I want to know, usually investors who are doing venture capital types of investments are investing in products because they can be more scalable. You didn't say much about the product. You talked a little bit more about the service. And also, it wasn't very clear to me how the transition between the old business, the one that generated the 7-figure revenue, in this business that is just starting out in terms of the beta, what's happening? It's very difficult for a service business that is generating revenue to suddenly leave it all behind and start afresh with a new product. I know that that's a little bit more involved perhaps than in a 2-minute you might be able to give, but you're bringing up the point, so you raised the question. So I'll let you answer that and then maybe ask you a couple more things.
Yeah, of course. So Matt and I have both done web design, SEO, service-based business. Matt's been doing it around Charlotte for 15 years. I started mine here in Charlotte about 5 years ago. Again, we both have 7 figures in its total sales over that time period. But what we've seen in that service is that it's web design, it's SEO, it's a very commoditized marketplace. All the online courses and Tech Talent South, all the just academies trying to spring up. Anybody with a laptop is essentially my competition now, so business owners are getting hit up on a daily or at least weekly basis with that. Even I get hit up for SEO services that I that's my core service offering. So with going into a product, it's transitioning into a less crowded market space, into reputation management, and also, like you were saying, getting out of the service industry so much and something that's more scalable in the product. So where I have the ability to not spend so much time on a single client, where we can spread that across multiple clients.
Yeah, so I'm still trying to truly understand how the value is delivered, and it sounds like you've created some proprietary IP in some software that is taking feedback from customer satisfaction measurement capabilities, i.e. the Net Promoter Scores, and looking for triggers or particular types of scores, and then creating an action, whether that's to invite the promoter or to address the passive, for example. And it sounds like some of it's technology, but some of it's service. I mean, in other words, there's human beings plus technology, people, process, and technology that are needed for the customer, your customer, to actually get actionable information or feedback. Is that right?
It's all technology.
Technology. So you're actually selling technology to a customer that they install and operate?
So basically, it's fanatical feedback. One of our customers is Fuel Pizza, and we were able to put tabletops in their restaurant, put a link on their online ordering form. So anytime anybody interacted with Fuel Pizza and bought pizza from that location, they got feedback. And then based on that feedback, they're redirected or to leave a review, or as a detractor to leave feedback directly for the business owner. So that's how it works.
So is this a software business?
It's just complete software. You sign up. We have a free trial, 14 days.
I think maybe then that's the clarifying point. This is a software business.
I think Eric was trying to give our background to validate the fact that we
I'll
built
tell you a
this
couple of
business.
things about that. Investors get scared of services because services require people, and you have to hire people and fire people and train people to grow. And it's a much more linear process. With software, you can have a little more of an exponential growth. It doesn't mean that all service is bad. In fact, there's a huge growth in services. But for an early stage startup, it requires a different capital structure. And when you mention your background, I think it's less important that you talk about your previous service experience, and more important that you talk about the particular skill set. So this is where it's very tricky to do a 2-minute pitch, even though I think it's the shortest, it's probably the trickiest, because you have to really get to the essence of what you want to say. And here, the message that you have to give when you talk about your background is, why are you guys qualified in an exceptional way to do this, right? And I think you were going after the right thing, which is your experience gives you unique ability, and you have a unique focus to do this effectively. But you have to extract that and do a little better job than just say, we ran a services business before and we got to 7 figures in revenue. I think you can do better probably with that aspect. And then the other thing that I would say is, in terms of the business in general, it's very tough to enter this market. I mean, it's a pretty busy, interesting, exciting, and crowded space. I would say try to find the niche. I mean, I have seen several companies doing similar things. And typically what I've found is that some of those more successful companies are doing it in a niche. Not because you necessarily want to stick to that niche forever, but it's a much easier way to start and to grow. I have seen recently a company, in fact, NCAD, I think, awarded a grant to a company doing exactly the same thing to property managers. Just helping property managers with their customer experience and looking at reviews and reacting to those reviews. And they have a product as well as a service. But I think, I don't know how broad you are in your offering, but if you sell to everybody, it's hard for people to have word of mouth, and especially when you're getting started. So I would say try to find your niche that you can definitely be the best at, and then grow from there.
Yeah, and that's part of that is why we're focusing on the reseller program. Because the digital agencies like Matt and myself it's web design and SEO, right? And it's just, again, a commoditized product. And so this actually came out of me looking for additional things I could take to my existing clients. Being able to offer reputation management to other digital agency owners, we're essentially selling to ourselves and, metaphorically, because we ran those businesses successfully for so long. So it's a revenue enhancement for them.
You can also monitor reviews online as well. So we pull in reviews from all the review sites, and you can react to that and respond to those. And we're, like Eric just mentioned, we're targeting resellers and agencies and restaurants. So we're defining our niche as we go.
Restaurants, you said?
Yeah, restaurants is one of the niches that we're.
For direct users, we're targeting restaurants, but in terms of the scalable growth and just our existing networks, we also have access to those resellers.
A lot of agencies that deal directly with restaurants have also approached us. So we're in talks with some big resellers right now.
Restaurants are a little tough because there's so many ways to do reviews for restaurants. The way to look at it for a niche, I would say, is try to find one underserved market and think about how can you quickly become the best at it. And I don't know that you can easily say that within a couple of years you can be the best in the country at providing reviews for restaurants. I guess a tough order, right?
We don't really want to provide reviews, we want to capture that feedback. So
Yeah, sure.
we're all about getting the survey and getting a survey in front of the customer so that the customer can leave feedback on the experience and the business can manage the experience in-house before it gets through.
Do you feel that that's underserved, that they're not doing that effectively today?
I do. I do.
Yeah.
And some of the things that we would like to do is if we had more funding is leave an iPad or some type of technology to the customer after they order so they could leave a feedback right after they order. There's multiple ways you can get, with the technology that's available, to get feedback from customers right now. Actually, if you want to leave feedback on our pitch, you can go to reproviveapp.com/page/pitchbreakfast and give us feedback on the pitch. We would love it.
Yeah, just a piece of feedback. I was wrestling a little bit with understanding the notion of the reseller approach through a digital agency. This is a space where you guys have obviously spent your time. You understand the mechanics of what you're describing. I wonder if everyone in the audience would equally understand it. So I think you could make this pitch stronger by explaining that a little bit in terms of the go-to-market. Why? What is a reseller? Where's the opportunity from a digital agency perspective? What do they do? How does this fit into their overall revenue-generating portfolio of capabilities? How does that reach an end customer? Just explain just a little bit more about how that would work, because it's obviously a key part of your go-to-market, right?
But I would, however, though, focus on your pitch on the pain point that your customers, your niche is feeling. And that is less clear. And I think that's more important for an investor to say, I like that one, I'd like to follow up and maybe learn some more. That is the essence of it. And I think you can do a better job there too. And it sounds like you have more information that you gave us regarding the problem that these restaurants are having in terms of managing the process of feedback with customers.
Yeah, certainly.
Got two questions on it. Yeah, well, this is more of an investor pitch, but if I was a restaurant owner and you came to me, I guess the biggest thing I would want, your company's called RepRevive, so I would expect that I'm going to get a better reputation value out of your service. So, but what it sounds is like your service actually offers more frequency of customer feedback for me. How do you turn that into quality feedback and positive feedback for my customers?
Gotcha. So in terms of how we do that, our dashboard, we have reporting obviously for the feedback portion and also the reviews portion, right? So the feedback is really built to capture negative reviews before they ever hit the internet, okay? So by capturing negative reviews, and it's something we've had some pretty good success with, our testing with Fuel, the math works the same, right? You have less negative reviews, your star rating still ends up going up. But also with the system and the way it responds to promoters, when we ask them to leave an online review, we're generating 1 to 2 online reviews a month in our testing with Fuel. So, the main benefit is capturing, but we are also actively generating reviews as well of customers that we've already captured their information. they've been segmented in the database, and so Fuel can do really targeted promotion to their passives and promoters to help build that customer experience again and get them back into that feedback loop to either capture a negative experience or, invite them to leave a review.
One more. Just feedback, more than a question. I heard you ask before the ask for 400,000, but I would suggest that you find a way to tell me where you're going to spend it or how you're going to need it or what you need it for, and then what you forecast or predict that I would get back for that 400,000. Because it's an investor pitch, those are really critical things.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, we just relaunched this a few weeks ago, so we're still early and we don't have all the exact metrics we would need to do a professional investor pitch. We're narrowing in on our cost per lead, and we're still, just don't have enough data to say this is our conversion rate and these are what we're looking at. Yeah.
I think that's a great point. So one way to do it is just talk about the if you don't know the details, then just talk about what you're going to use the money for.
Yeah.
You don't have to give the details. You don't have to say it's 400,000, but you're going to need to spend money on development, or you're going to have to spend money, and you're going to raise money. You don't know the details yet. You're starting to have early conversations, or whatever it happens to be. If it's marketing, if it's development, or whatever.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Okay.
One thing we would do is hire salespeople for sure, and then some marketing, do some social media advertising, some more search engine marketing as well.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Eric and Matt, let's goodbye.